Here is a 1978 Chevrolet Malibu sedan. I'm going to be doing some more work on this car today. I'm trying to get the cooling system operational once more. As you know, in previous videos, apparently it's had some issues with that. I did have this car running, as you saw also. So I went on and got some supplies to make the repairs with. Got a thermostat and gasket and new hose and coolant, and also I went ahead and picked up a aftermarket temperature gauge to put in, because this car, like most of them, only has an idiot light, and that doesn't do anything but make an idiot out of you when it comes on and you're stranded. So we're going to go ahead and go with a regular style temperature gauge. And also picked up a new lock cylinder for the ignition switch in there, which does come with the keys. So now I've looked over this radiator and tried to determine what could have been wrong here, and I haven't been able to really find anything obviously wrong. There's no sign of coolant leakage. Well, that's caught, I guess. Like I said, no sign of coolant leakage. No, usually these plastic, it has one of these plastic, hello kitty, it has one of these plastic radiators in it, and the radiator looks fairly recent. So usually when they crack, they will crack right in one location on these, and that is over, I don't know if you can see this, but over here behind where the top hose comes in. Where is the top hose on this car? Oh, okay, somebody is, I say, well, didn't know what was going on. Something may be wrong here anyway. This radiator and or the shroud is not right for this car, because, hello kitty, how are you? Would you like to say hello? Oh, hello to you too. Oh goodness, where's your friend at? Well, that's interesting, because they said that they had had the radiator out of this car, and I thought that they were telling a fib because it didn't look like it had been out. So I do have another radiator, regardless, that will fit this car. It came off this one, which is, of course, parked right now. And so let me get the shroud off here, and maybe I can see what's actually going on with this, whether this is the right radiator or not. So we'll be back. Okay, now I've got the mating surfaces of both the thermostat housing on the intake and the upper part of the thermostat housing where the hose connects nice and clean, all cleaned off and everything. And I'm going to apply some sealer to this side of this gasket that I've got. It's one of these self-stick things, and on here, that must be the cat. Sorry about that. On well, this side has got a little ridge, as you can see, so I'm not going to use the self-stick side on this. I'm going to put the self-stick side on this over here because it's nice and smooth, so I hope it does not leak. Is that you making noise in there? Hope you didn't break anything. Well, we're back here again, just still doing some more work on this 78 Malibu. You notice at the first of the video I kind of got distracted when I was looking at the radiator, because I discovered something, and sure enough I was right about my theory about the radiator, and that explains the whole reason why they didn't fix this car. They told me when I bought this car, the people that repossessed it, you know, they don't always know much about them, but they said the guy said it was just sitting there because they got it out of the radiator shop, or got the radiator out of the radiator shop, whatever, and just didn't have the money to finish it. Well, you noticed there at the first of the video, I realized that the fan shroud was covering up the was covering up the outlet to the radiator up here. So that's the right fan shroud, because I've got a remnant of the one that came off this car over there, and they're the same. I've had these before, and it's the right shroud. So if it's the right shroud, it's got to be the wrong radiator. So here's the one that came out of this 79 here, and maybe kind of hard to see on the video, but look at that. They're definitely a different width. This one's, if I got anything to reference, I don't think I do out here, but this one's, I know this is the right one because I took it out of this car. So it's a good 2 inches wider. So that's probably what happened. They got a radiator for it, a newer radiator, and put it in, and then they realized they couldn't hook the hose up to it, so they quit. I tell you, it's sometimes it's amusing to find out things that people do when they're trying to fix cars and stuff, but really it gets to be frustrating because, you know, that isn't all. I was over here looking. I noticed the first thing was that the oil light wasn't coming on, and that's because the oil sending unit is unplugged right there, because it's got the newer style 2 outlet, 2 terminal switch and the 1 terminal connector. But so obviously it's not going to fit without some work done to it, so they just left it off. But look at this over here. This car was having cooling system problems and obviously was overheating, but there's no way that the temperature light could have worked on this car, because right there, see that plug? That's where the temperature sending unit is supposed to go on a small block Chevrolet, and the head. Well, there's not one. And here's the terminal right here. I see you. You're not sneaking up on me, pal. Here's the wire to it. Just go right there. So they went to the trouble of putting in a fairly good engine, I guess, and they didn't bother to hook the oil pressure light up, and they didn't bother to hook the temperature sending unit up, because there's not one. I think that damn cat there could do better work on a car than who these people did. So anyway, I'm going to throw that radiator in here and use it, because it's the only one I can use that'll fit. So I got the old one out, as you can see there, and I got my thermostat housing, the thermostat back on. So yeah, once again, if you have to shortcut things like this, don't work on it. Just take it somewhere and pay to have it done correctly, or leave it alone. Just don't work on it. Don't touch it. And one thing is, I'm going to swap this carburetor out too, because it's one of these old ones that doesn't have any provision for the charcoal canister hookup. As you can see, it's all unhooked over here, and it's kind of jimmy rigged in there. See that? Seemed to work okay, but looks like it's seen a lot of use. So I'll just rebuild one of my spares up there and put that on. I think I have a Chevy carb in there. Alright folks, I'm going to cut this off here and get back and get some, much as I can get done before the sun goes down. So when the sun goes down on the kitty, we'll quit working and go in. Kitty. You know I'm making noise over here, don't you ignore me. Psst. Meow. Okay, well, me and the cat say see you later. Okay, well, I think we're about done for the day on the Malibu. See what we did today. Got in the new thermostat, new upper hose, went ahead and swapped the right radiator into it, hooked all that up, got all that done. Had a spare overflow bottle. I went ahead and mounted that back up and put the lid on that. And I got this pipe plug I was showing you in the head. I got it out. It was pretty easy to get out. So got that out so I can put the temperature gauge in there where it goes. And I've got some more Chevy valve covers. I'm going to pull this chrome crap off here because they don't have the correct provisions for the breather tubes and PCV valve. It's got a spot for the PCV valve there, but the grommets gone. So I just, you know, I don't need chrome valve covers. So, and I'll show you in here. I think where I'm going to put my temperature gauge. I think I'm going to put it right here. Now I've got another. I thought I had another bezel that came in a pile of parts and shit that I got, and I do. But it's red, so I was just going to go ahead and just take this one and modify it, but since it's red I won't do that. But you can see it's got a little bit of a curve in it, but I don't think it'll be a big deal. I think it'll work. It won't be that noticeable. So when I do that, I'll show you how that looks. Talk to you soon.